we saw it fit to spotlight the lives, stories, and contributions of these nation builders who make up the PSOJ Hall of Fame. The PSOJ believes that Jamaica's true potential can only be realized together, and together we can make Jamaica a nation to be proud of, a place to live, work, and raise families.
Let's hear about his journey through the private sector.
My name is Suzanne Williams. I'm the third daughter of Danny Williams. Daddy grew up in a very simple household. His father was a bookkeeper at JPS, or whatever the power company was called at that time. And his mother was a seamstress. So he grew up in a very close-knit family. He was taught from a very early age the value of community and relationships with people. He also had a sister who had Down syndrome, so he was very sensitive to the needs of people around him. His mother was an ardent member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, so he used to attend church with her when he was a child, and he always intermingled with people from all walks of life. He loved people. So he started that way, and because he came from a simple family, his education was very, very important to him. When he got into high school, he went to JC, which most people know. He kind of fooled around the first few years, but when it came to I don't remember the name of the exams at the time, but what we would call CXC now, he became a lot more serious about his work. Because he did want to move on into a profession that would help him to create a life for himself. So he did his exams and he did really well. And then he went on to sixth form. And then he became a lot more serious about his work and actually went to boarding school, which was actually a privilege for him because it wasn't something his parents could afford easily at the time. And again, he buckled down. He did very, very well and left with very good grades. And I think that period of his life taught him that if he applied himself to his work, he could succeed at what he put his mind to. He always had an entrepreneurial spirit. My aunt and her husband lived with my grandparents, and my daddy used to sell cakes that my grandmother would make. He'd sell it in the community, in his neighborhood. He also used to sell cigarettes. His brother-in-law used to sell cigarettes, and he wasn't that great at the sales, so Daddy took over the sales and boosted his sales and began to earn profit. It turned out that his brother-in-law was also in the insurance business and wasn't doing that wonderful at it. So Daddy started to assist him and to sell policies for him before it was even legal for him to do that. That's one of the things that got him interested in insurance. He did try to take on other jobs. He tried to run a lab at one of the sugar estates and ended up falling asleep on the job and having a terrible accident. He resigned from that job before he got fired. In fact, when he handed in his resignation, his boss said, "I wasn't actually going to fire you because you're really quite good at your job," and wanted him to come back. But by that stage, he realized this isn't really what he wanted to do. And then he moved from that into insurance. He met my mother at a very young age, and they fell in love, and they got married very young. She was 18 and he was just shy of 20. And my grandfather was quite established in the insurance industry. So he became even more involved in the insurance industry and started out working with my grandfather, and then it grew from there. He moved on to North American Life. where at a very early stage, he became the top salesman, and then he became the top manager, and it just grew. He grew from strength to strength there until North America. There were issues with the legal, with how insurance business was being done, I understand, with overseas companies. So that's one of the things that spurred him on to actually start Life of Jamaica. He's always been a nationalist at heart. He loved Jamaica, and he loved Jamaican people. And one of the things about Daddy is that he wanted to prosper, but he wanted everybody around him to prosper as well. So that was kind of a driving force in his life, that whatever he did, while he was lifting himself, he was lifting everybody else around him. Life of Jamaica took a lot out of him, but he was in an industry that could help not only his salespeople succeed, but it could provide a service for Jamaicans that wasn't then existing. Provide insurance for people to go to school. You know, people, when they die, there's something left for their family to carry on with. And that was at the heart. He really believed in insurance for that reason, because of the benefits that it offered people in difficult times. He wanted not only his colleagues to prosper, as I was saying earlier, but he wanted to be in a service business that lifted the level in society. That directed a lot of what he did, because he did a lot professionally in the insurance field. He excelled, not only locally, but internationally. But he was also involved in a lot of social services. He gave his time to a lot of social services because, again, he wanted to see different levels of society raised. And as you probably know, he also went into politics at one stage. That was a difficult period for the family. I wouldn't tell you no, because it was a turbulent time in the country. But he wanted to see his country rise too. He wanted to see Jamaica shine and the people of Jamaica shine. So he wasn't an elected member of parliament. He was appointed to the position of Minister of Industry. And he did a great job there. But it demanded a lot of him, a lot. But he learned a lot at the same time. We were glad it wasn't for too long, because the demands were huge. He felt he had served his country in that way, and I know that he was able to put in place agreements and arrangements that really benefited the country at that time. He earned respect from a lot of people that he worked with, but then that was the person he was. He was a man of integrity. His word was his bond, so people trusted him. So even when he went into politics, he was trusted. And might say he's probably one of the few politicians that was trusted. Those were some guiding principles in his profession.
Every generation brings new hopes and ambitions. Sagicor has been helping Jamaicans to realize their dreams. As we celebrate our past, we look forward to continuing that legacy of trust, providing support and financial solutions for the next generation to succeed. Sagicor, building trust, one generation at a time.
What's a significant milestone in his journey that he would be proud of?
I think he was very proud of forming Life of Jamaica. It was, at the time, nationalism was really high in Jamaica. It was one of the most successful Jamaican companies when it was first started. I think it was a significant achievement in his life to have founded, along with his team, Life of Jamaica, which eventually grew into Sagicor. But I think that was, probably a really, really important part of his career.
When he was inducted into the PSOJ Hall of Fame, how do you think he felt about that experience?
I don't know. The reason being, Daddy didn't discuss successes like that with us. As successful as he was, there was a level of humility about him. And he never bragged about his success. He encouraged us to be successful. I think he felt a sense of satisfaction when he was recognized, but he never bragged about it. So strangely enough, I didn't know how influential my father was until I entered the working world. And it was very interesting for me to find out how influential he actually was. He just never discussed those things with us. I think because he wanted us to be very grounded. He didn't want us to be swayed by the influence he had at that time. So it just wasn't something that he really discussed with us very much.
How do you think his work has helped the private sector grow in Jamaica?
I think significantly. Many of the leaders in Jamaica now were mentored by my father, whether in business, some in politics, some in the social services, in government. Many of them were mentored by my father. So I believe he laid a foundation for many young people's lives. He changed their thinking somewhat. He really believed in building all aspects of society. I think where he could, he tried to influence people who had significant positions in society to think carefully not only about creating wealth, but utilizing their wealth to uplift the country and the people around them. So you'll notice that, a lot of businesses now not only promote their performance, but they promote what they're doing in society. And I think that in Jamaica, Daddy had a lot to do with encouraging that kind of thought. How do we build our society from the grassroots up and not impose on the society only what the ruling class sees is needed? I think he had a lot to do with changing some of those ideas.
What were some of the challenges he faced and how did he navigate them?
He was a visionary, and whenever you're a visionary, you're going to come against opposition. He started very young, and I'm sure there were a lot of people who told him, you're not going to succeed at doing this, you're not going to succeed at doing that. But he never allowed that to get in his way. Because of his upbringing and his exposure to all classes of Jamaicans, he viewed Jamaica in that way. He was a so-called white Jamaican. His thinking was different from the average white Jamaican. So sharing his ideas at times were not always well received. But he was such a good salesman that after a while, he usually was able to convey his thoughts and sway people's thinking. He was a good salesman and he was a man of integrity, so people listened to him.
What was a memorable moment with him?
In the years before he passed, there have been a number of occasions when he has been honored. Each time I attend one of these occasions, I learn something new about what he did. I think what impressed me most about my father, the fact that he was the same person, whatever group of people he dealt with, whether he was dealing with insurance persons, whether he was dealing with the public sector or government or his family. I would listen to what they say about him. And I could say the same thing as his daughter. So that, I think, impressed me the most about his career and his life, that he was authentic. Wherever you went, whoever he dealt with, he was the same person. He handled his children the same way he handled his employees. And I really respected that about him. And I hope that I will be able to do the same in my life.
What advice did he give you that you would pass on to the next generation today?
A little phrase he would say to us. Well, he'd say to me, Sue, good friends are better than money. It seems like a simple phrase, but it actually is quite profound, because basically what he was saying to me was, be very careful with your relationships, because your relationships are way more valuable than what you earn. Relationships are what determine how you succeed in life, whether people trust you or not, whether you can trust them or not. Should I enter into a business agreement with this person? Are they trustworthy? Money isn't everything. It's important. It's important to live. But your relationships with people often take you way further than the amount of money you earn. And that is something that will stay with me for life.
Did he cultivate any surprising skills or hobbies?
He was a farmer, and at one stage of his life, he was thinking of studying agricultural science. He never did it because he got into insurance, but he always dabbled in it. He had a property up near Newcastle, and he used to grow coffee, and he grew all kinds of vegetables and peaches and strawberries and all kinds of crops. And he was very proud of his crops. He was very proud of being able to tell you that everything on this table has been provided from the garden. So that was his greatest hobby in earlier years. As he got older, he had to sell the property. But even then, he always kept a backyard garden. And he still took pride in telling people, that pumpkin is off the property, or those tomatoes are off the property, or whatever it is. So at heart, he was a farmer.
Every generation brings new hopes and ambitions. Sagicor has been helping Jamaicans to realize their dreams. As we celebrate our past, we look forward to continuing that legacy of trust, providing support and financial solutions for the next generation to succeed. Sagicor, building trust, one generation at a time.
How was his work-life balance?
To know Danny Williams was an experience. When you had him 100%. And that's true of anybody who knew him. If he spent 5 minutes with you, you had his total focus for 5 minutes. While he was building his career, it was very hard for him to always give his family the amount of time we wanted from him. But what I can tell you is what time he did give us, we got 100%. There were 6 children, and he made time for each of us at the different points. My mother helped him a lot, and she would block times when we would do things together as a family. Maybe we would spend time on the North Coast or up at his farm, or we'd travel together. She always blocked those times for him. And whenever he blocked those times, whether it was a weekend or it was 2 weeks or whatever, we had him 100%. And he would touch base with all of us. Now, those who worked for him knew he was a man of follow-up. He had a little black book he kept in his pocket, and he went through his black book regularly regarding what needed to be followed up, and relationships always needed to be followed up. So he always had a tab on our lives. Because of that, he was able to find his balance. As I said, as children, we couldn't understand sometimes why he wasn't around as much as we would like, but as we grew older, we began to understand. And I'll give you a little example. When I was a teenager, he was forming Life of Jamaica, and he worked very long hours. So he never got in till maybe 10:30 in the night. There were 6 of us, 3 older ones, 3 younger ones. 3 older ones of us were in high school. And what we would do after we did our extracurricular activities and came home, and the homework would take us into the night. He would come in at about 10:30, and his dinner was always put down for him. We would warm it up and serve him the dinner. And then we would get half an hour, 45 minutes for him to hear how our day went, or just to chit-chat with him. And so we got him completely for that 45 minutes. And so, there were little times like that we could carve out with him, but that's how he operated. Once you had his attention, you had him 100% of the time. You felt like you were the only person in the world. So he was able to find his balance with home and work by doing that. And he did that with his children and his grandchildren. The great-grands hadn't gotten old enough for that yet.
Is there any special memory that reflected his personality?
That he was a very gentle person. He was always very forthright in what he believed. But when you knew him on a person-to-person basis, he was a very gentle, caring person. My favorite memory of him is when I would sit on his lap as a child. He'd have a way of rubbing my back that just made me feel important to him. So I guess that's what that back rub did for me. It helped me to feel I was important to him.
Every generation brings new hopes and ambitions. Sagicor has been helping Jamaicans to realize their dreams. As we celebrate our past, we look forward to continuing that legacy of trust, providing support and financial solutions for the next generation to succeed. Sagicor, building trust, one generation at a time.